Hi, so I'm Zoe. I am currently in third year, my final year in accounting and finance. So currently, I am the college representative of School of Management, actually, and also the president of Malaysian Society. So with that said, I'm from Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia, and yeah, I'm just super excited to be here and share my tips with you guys on how I prepped for uni. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Zoe. And yeah, it's really nice that Zoe is with us today. So my name's James. I am part of the team at the School of Management, student recruitment officer. So basically, we put on lots of events like open days and this kind of thing. Obviously, at the moment, it's a shame that we can't run the normal open days and see you sort of face to face. But this is definitely the next best thing, and it's really good that so many people have come along. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kick us off. I'm going to share my screen. This is always the challenging bit. There we go. And I'll run through a bit of an introduction to the university here in Swansea. Before then, Zoe and I can go over our top 10 tips. So, as I say, we're speaking to you from Swansea. Some of you may have been here to visit us already. Some of you might even live quite close by, and some of you may have never visited Swansea or really thought much about it at all. But as you might know, Swansea, we're in Wales. We're on the southwest coast of Wales. As you can see, we're not too far from London, from Cardiff, and other cities in the UK. And this is Swansea, of course. This is where we're lucky enough to call home, and obviously we study and work in this wonderful, vibrant city on the coast of Wales. So at Swansea University, we've got two campuses. So we've got the Bay campus, which you can see there on the top right of the screen. So this is where the School of Management's based, engineering is based, science is up here too. It's a modern campus. It was only opened in 2015, so you can imagine the facilities are really quite something up here. So as well as the Bay campus there, we've got the Singleton Park campus, and this is your more traditional sort of old-fashioned, if you like, campus. It's a lovely campus situated in the park next to the beach again. And that's where our College of Arts and Humanities, our College of Human Health Sciences, and many others such as law are based as well. So as you can see, there's the School of Management, which is we're actually the closest college to the beach, which is always a good thing. So Swansea University, we're fusing together really the old and the traditional at Singleton Park campus and the new at the Bay campus. And that's quite apt given that we're celebrating our centenary. It's our 100th year this year, which is always a pleasure. So Zoe, are you ready? Should we kick off with the first of our 10 tips?
Yes, of course. Okay, so this is the biggest thing that when I came to uni, I was like, yeah, accommodation, definitely. The first thing I was like, where do I even stay? Because I'm like an international student, right? So, my top tip is that in your first year, you stay in like campus accommodation, just so you are in a mix with other freshers, from all different types of background and stuff, and you guys are in the same mindset. Like everything is new to you, you get to explore things, you get different exposure and stuff like that. And then from then on, from your second year, you can move out with like whoever you meet. Let's say if you know your own group of friends, let's say like I'm more of a sociable kind, or let's say if you're more towards like a study kind, you have your own group of friends, and then you can move out with them after knowing your set of friends. So that's what I suggest, definitely, is to move in a campus accommodation first.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Zoe. I think that's a really good tip. Obviously, campus accommodation is the most popular place to stay for people starting university in their first year. But do your research. Think about where you want to live. While a lot of people do live on campus, it's quite popular to go and live in a shared house in the city and perhaps be a little bit closer to the shops and to the bars and to all of the facilities that your city will have to offer. So think about it, and most of all, I would say is don't leave it too late. So in Swansea, if you apply before the 30th of June, we can guarantee you a room in university halls. So if you do it nice and early, you get things ready, then you won't have anything to worry about, basically. So
Yeah, and to add on that, you can actually add in your preferences. So let's say if you want to stay in like a boys only flat or the girls only flat, or if you want a quiet flat, you can put in those preferences. That's really nice from Swansea. Yeah.
definitely, definitely. Thank you, Zoe. So let's move on to our second tip. And the first, to warn you, so we've had the first one, and the next one and the one after, they're the housekeeping tips. So this one, plan your finances. It seems pretty dull, and that's why we put it at the beginning, really, to get it out of the way. But it's really important to think about how you're going to support yourself while you're at university. It doesn't have to be an expensive or a financially challenging process if you organize yourself well enough. So there's always lots of stereotypes about students eating, I don't know, beans on toast for dinner every day, all the time. But it doesn't have to be that way. So if perhaps you're thinking of applying for a student loan, if you haven't already done so and you're a student in the UK or you're from the European Union, apply for that student funding as soon as you can, just to make sure that it arrives with you on time. And perhaps if you're an international student, think about your living costs. Think about how much money that you might need to sort of keep aside for living costs and expenses. So I don't know, Zoe, how do you find the sort of cost of living in Swansea, for example? Have you managed okay on the whole?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Like if you compare it to Cardiff and London, definitely it'd be cheaper. So the way I see Swansea, it's like it isn't like a huge city, but it has everything that you need. You know, there's Wine Street where the socials go on. Then you have like the shopping mall and like Quadrant, right? Or the market, Swansea Market is available there. So I feel like it's a smaller city and it fits me.
Yeah, and that's great, and it makes life a lot easier, and it's a big stress off your mind if you're not always having to worry about your money and obviously, yeah, the cost of living and shopping and everything else. So let's move on to the third one. Tip number 3. Again, this is the last. I did warn you. The first 3 are a little bit more related to housekeeping, but check out the relevant reading. See if there's any reading you can do for your course beforehand. Now, I would always say it's well worth just reaching out to your university, asking if they've got any relevant reading or any content that they can share with you. So, for example, if you are interested in a course in the School of Management here at Swansea, please send me an email, because we've got a list of books and resources that you can tap into just casually over the summer. It doesn't have to be anything serious, but if there's a module or there's a particular area of a course that you think might be more challenging or is just really interesting to you, then get stuck into it over the next few weeks, because the more preparation that you can do now, the easier it will feel once you start and you're settling in and you're getting used to lectures too. I don't know, Zoe, is that something that helped you when you were starting at university?
Ooh, one of the great things about Swansea is if you go onto the Swansea website and go under the courses, there's this one module section that if you click into it, you get to see your module and your module options for every year. It means like year 1, year 2, year 3. They tell you what is compulsory. And like if you click into, let's say, financial accounting, they will send you to another link, like another website, and in there's like synopsis of what is going on. There's the syllabus of what you will learn, learning materials, who will be a lecturer, how many hours of lectures and seminar you have to attend. So that was really comprehensive for me, like, ooh, everything is right here. I don't have to wonder how long I have to study per week on one subject, and also that's really cool.
Yeah, and that really, yeah, that does help. So yeah, no, thank you, Zoe. So we'll move on to slightly more interesting tips now that we've come up with. So number 4, opportunities. So get thinking really about what you actually want to do while you're at university, because you're going to be moving most likely to a new city, maybe even a new country for some people. So think about, is there a society or a sport perhaps you'd like to get involved with? Zoe, did you get involved with any societies or sports at all over the last year or two?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I went onto the student union website for Swansea University and literally everything was there. So I joined the cheerleading club,
No.
cheerleading society. So that's what I did my second year. And in my third year, I joined my cultural society, which is the Malaysian Society. And also, fun fact, if there's a society that isn't in existence, but you would like to maybe come up with one, you could bring it up to the SU and they will help you keep the ball rolling. So one of the new societies this year would be K-pop. So it was K-pop, breakdowns, because it's like a new culture right now. It's growing, right? So they created, my friend initiated like a K-pop society where they could dance, learn to speak the language and stuff like that. So that was really interesting. Yeah. And part-time job, I guess it would be the most accessible one and flexible one would be student ambassador for sure, because it's flexible. Let's say if you're not free that weekend, it's totally fine. Not every week is guaranteed. So, very flexible, and it fits my timetable, especially as like a year 3 final year student.
Brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in short, you might be moving to a new town or a new city, new country, but your hobbies, there'll always be somewhere you can carry on with your hobbies. So that's tip 4. Think about opportunities and think about what you might want to do. Let's go on to number 5. So number 5, it sounds, I guess, like an obvious one, but get to know people before you arrive. So if you're on Facebook, WhatsApp, most people are on one or the other, if not both. Tap into those WhatsApp groups that might exist for your accommodation or for your course. The Facebook groups, there's loads out there, and it's just a really nice way to get to know the people that you'll be spending at least the next 3 years of your life with, basically. So there might be other people from your town moving to Swansea. There might be other people from your country moving to Swansea. I mean, there almost definitely will, to be honest. Yeah, keep in touch. Zoe, how useful, particularly for you, was the Malaysian Society in kind of getting used to Swansea?
I think everything is really easy. Just type into the search bar. Like, I think the first thing you should do as a fresher is to type in overheard in Swansea, or is it overheard for
Oh yeah.
Swansea, right? So there's a very big like student body right there. Literally just a mix of everyone from Singleton to Bay, and you can just pop in questions there, and people will comment on it. So you could just write, oh, is there an accounting finance group for 2020 and 21 intake? And if there is, they would be like, yeah, come, let me add you in. Or let's say you can ask, hey, is there any other Malaysians here? Or can you give me some tips on where should I stay and where should I not, like where to avoid? So yeah, I think overheard should be where you start, really, because there's just like a wide connection there.
Definitely, yeah. That's a really good, really good pointer, and I've seen those groups, and they're quite funny as well. Those groups
Yeah,
too. So
definitely.
yeah, they're definitely worth a look. So yeah, thanks, Zoe. So that's tip 5: get to know people before you arrive at university. So number 6, this kind of ties in with number 5, I suppose. But Freshers Week. So stay in the loop, and more importantly, I guess, read those emails that you'll get before you arrive at university. So basically, the summer will come around quite quickly. You'll have results day in August, and then suddenly you'll know for sure whether you're in or what you're doing, what your plans are for university. And then your university is going to email you quite a lot. They're going to be telling you lots of different things. So in Swansea, we'll be telling you about what's happening with everything from arrivals to Freshers Week, all the different events that are going on. Is there anything that you would want to add to that, Zoe?
Yeah, Freshers Week, like I said, is quite an important week because everyone is in the same mindset as you. Everyone is not familiar. Everyone's lost. So you can just ask any questions you want, literally, like, hey, where's the toilet? Someone would just gladly point you to it because, they know that you're new and they don't mind helping you out. So Freshers Week in Swansea, they cover from A to Z, from socials to orientation on, discrimination and that's not tolerated, or harassment, or what they expect from you, academic integrity and stuff like that, accreditation. Literally everything is covered in that week. So it is really important. I understand if some people are not really socially inclined to like go out, but even so, you still benefit from Freshers Week, from the orientations and the workshops and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting, accommodating like such a wide range of students.
So yeah, so that's tip 6: stay in the loop as regards your Freshers Week and your settling in and your kind of onboarding period. let's move on to number 7. 7, get cooking. So this isn't a really important one actually, because obviously the more you cook for yourself, you'll save a huge amount of money and you'll be healthier. But also it's a really good social activity. So perhaps think of a couple of dishes from your town or from your part of the country, or if you're an international student, even better, bring a dish from your country and cook it in that first week or two, and cook it for your flatmates, cook it for the people that you're living with. I don't know, Zoe, do you cook a lot at home? Are you a keen cook?
Oh yes, I do cook
Yeah.
a lot because I'm from Malaysia, right? So there's like Indian food, Malay food, Chinese food, like a lot of different kinds of food. And I actually can find a lot of Indian food in Swansea and Chinese food. So it's really interesting. And even like an Indonesian restaurant. So I would say it's pretty culturally diverse in
Brilliant.
Swansea.
That's great. Thank you, Zoe. And just a quick word to say, keep the questions coming. I can see there's quite a few have been submitted, and we'll come on to these very shortly. Some really good questions have been asked. So let's go on to number 8. Let's go. Come on, laptop. There we are. So number 8, packing and arriving. This might seem like a long way off, and it might even seem like a bit of an afterthought now, to be honest. But think about what you're going to need to take. Think about how you're going to get to your university. Zoe, coming from Malaysia, I think you probably had a big challenge packing everything to come to Swansea, I'm sure.
Yeah, I had to like choose what to pack and what to not pack. That was really hard. But I think what you should pack is essentials if you have space. Like, I know this sounds ridiculous, but like pack maybe just like shampoos and conditioner first. So you have a few. So when you get to Swansea, you can familiarize yourself before you go start shopping, so you still have your essentials. You're fine for like maybe a week or two, instead of coming into Swansea and like rambling to buy your essentials and stuff. So maybe pack them with you first for like 1 week's worth, and then you could just scout different supermarkets like Tesco. That's like the most general one for Swansea. And then there is Lidl, Sainsbury's. There's so many different kinds. So it depends really. So you will have to scout. But I guess planning before coming here, what I checked, what that was most important was like, do I have cellular data? So like, do I have a SIM card? Would I have Wi-Fi to contact people? Do I have enough cash on me? Because I wouldn't have a bank card when I come here. Also transportation, that's really really important. And also just keep like someone you can contact when you arrive. So if you arrive late, maybe just like notify someone, hey, I'm coming like around 10 p.m, could you please help me out? Can I have your contact if I run through any problems? So I think it's safe to have those prepared before you come here.
Definitely. No, thanks, Zoe. Let's look. So we've got two more to go, and it's something again that a lot of people perhaps don't always do, which is really important to do. Is just get to know your local area. So this is Swansea, as you can see on the screen. It's the same everywhere. If you're moving to a new town or city, you don't want to feel lost once you arrive. You don't need to change your lifestyle when you move to a new place. So think about where the gym is in relation to where you're going to be living, or think about where the big supermarket is. Think about your hobbies, like if you're into football, for example, where's the football stadium from where you live, and how can you get there on a Saturday afternoon to go and watch a match? Or I don't know, maybe like running or cycling, and you want to find the right place to do that. So I don't know, Zoe, is there any experience you had of that? Obviously moving from Malaysia to Swansea is quite a big change, I suppose, for you.
Yeah, well, Google is definitely my best friend there. Like Google Maps, like where do I need to go? How far is the two campuses apart from each other? But I think honestly, when I came to Swansea, I had a lot of help. I didn't even need Google anymore. They just start telling me where is what, where you go for this, where you go for that. So I would say that there's a community in Swansea that could help you. They understand that you're new and they really don't blame you for being so lost. So I guess that's the leverage you have, let's say as a fresher. You just literally ask anything and we understand why you're so confused. So it's fine.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. No, that's the best best way to put it. The last tip, really, it might be an obvious one for some people and for others not, but please stay in touch. So it's a big move to come and study a particular subject in a new place. So I think it's tip 10 on the list, but it's probably for me number one. I don't know about you, Zoe, but stay in touch, keep in touch with us. I've asked you a couple of times to take my email address down, and I mean that because I'm happy to help with anything I can. And if it's not something that I know the answer to, then there's a host of staff in the university who, okay, we might all be working at home at the moment, but we're all still working, and we're all here basically to help you guys when it comes to settling into university. So yeah, so those are our 10 tips, I guess. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to open up the Q&A now. And I think, Zoe, might be a good one for you to answer would be, and it's an anonymous question even. Basically, the person's asking, I was hoping to live by myself in my first year as I really struggle with new people. Would this make it difficult for me in my first year, or would this not be a problem? So yeah, what do you think to that, Zoe?
I think it wouldn't be an actual problem, but just like maybe a added burden, you know, because like you're already changing, you're already coming into uni, like it's already somewhere you're not familiar with. If you move in yourself, there's another area you're not familiar with. You might need to deal with like bills, council taxes, you know, taking out the trash, like, you know, a lot of specific things. But if you move into, let's say, a quiet flat, you might even feel like you're living alone. But I do understand the struggle, as like different people have different social like struggles, right? Like for me as well, it's not really easy for me to cope with people who are not from Malaysia, obviously, right? So coming here, I was a little bit intimidated, but you know, you could put down your preferences, you know, to stay with girls only, and that was my preferences, and also to stay in a quiet flat. So it just felt like I was actually staying alone, but like I felt so protected. You know, my bills were covered. Like I didn't have to worry about heating, calling the landlord and stuff like that, because it's under the uni. So I felt really protected there. So that's what I would say on it. But it's definitely up to you it's your take on this.
Yeah, thanks, Zoe. And I think like by extension to that, it's always worth remembering that if you do choose to live alone, there's still, you know, all of the usual support and all of the usual things going on at university. So it is important to still keep in touch with people, but in short, no, you don't have to live in a big shared house, and a lot of students choose not to do that, as Zoe said. So yeah,
Can I
hopefully.
add on to that as
Yeah, of
well?
course.
If you do plan to stay alone, there's this student accommodation services that's on Singleton campus, right?
That's
So
right.
you can go up to them and ask them, like, if you are encounter any difficulties with, like, let's say your landlord, or you don't know how the council tax works and stuff like that. You wouldn't have to pay them actually, but a letter would be required for you to provide. So anyway, you can get help from the SAS. That's what we call them, and it's in Singleton. So no worries, even if you choose to stay alone.
Yeah, that's great. No, thank you, Zoe. So yeah, hopefully that helps. We've got a question here from Gurjot. This could be quite a hard one actually, Zoe, but let's see what Gurjot what the answer to his question is. So
I think I know actually. Okay, the only cons of Swansea Uni is that there's two different campuses. Oh, it's not hard to get to and fro, definitely. It's just the fact that there's two different campuses. There is a 9 that runs directly for 20 minutes, you know, from Bay campus to Singleton, and it's included in your bus pass. So I wouldn't say it's an actual problem. It's just a little bit of like I have to go to the main campus to get some of the services or meet some people. So that's just like the only con for me, honestly. The pros, well, there's to me a lot. You know, there's such a wide ranging students from different background, like different classes. There's just such a big community, and you will always find your small group of friends, and you'll be fine. And then let's say like the School of Management, they do provide like paying like really good student experience officers. So we have James, Kat, Amy, and Laura, and literally almost every student in School of Management knows them because they are always out and about to help. They're always interacting, engaging with the students. So those are my pros and cons as a student in SOM and Swansea Uni.
that's great. Oh, thank you, Zoe. Another question. So Tom has asked here, what what drew you guys to Swansea University? So, yeah, Zoe, do you want to go? Do you want to go first there? What drew you to Swansea, all the way from Malaysia, especially?
What drew me to Swansea? So there's I think one of it is because they provide optional modules that fit my ambition. So what I really want to pursue at the end of the day is forensics accounting, and honestly, that's pretty rare. So you need like a good mix of modules. So for me, would be business and employment law, auditing, and forensic accounting itself. So this is what SOM actually provides for, like, these modules are actually available, and they can be in whatever sort of mix you want. So your degree is kind of flexible towards the end. So for your first and second year, yes, there will be core modules, but from second year onwards, you can start shaping. Would you want to be more towards accounting or finance? And they will actually support you, and they have teams on standby to advise you. Let's say if you want to suddenly change from accounting and finance to studying more towards economics. So that is actually available as well. So that's particularly why I came to Swansea, is because I can change my mind later on, and there wouldn't be like a huge impact on my studies. Like the transition would be pretty fairly easy.
Brilliant. No, thanks, Zoe. And yeah,
Yeah.
hope that helps, Tom. I mean, for me, I'm not a student anymore, unfortunately. I wish I was. But yeah, I was drawn to Swansea basically. I looked at a lot of different universities across the country. The main thing that drew me to Swansea really was the fact that it's such a friendly university. I think that really stood out, and there's quite a strong community here. So yeah, as soon as I came really on an open day and took part in a few events like this, I felt like it was just the right place to go and move really. So I came from Dorset, which is quite a rural part of the UK, and it was really nice to move to a bigger city like Swansea, and still have such a friendly and supportive community really. So yeah, no, thank you, Tom. Here's a good one. Eleanor asks, is there a limit on the number of societies you can join? Zoe.
No, go crazy, honestly. But obviously, time managed. You can't be too greedy. You have 3 years. Remember that. So you can just join. Let's say what you want to try out first. And then also what you're interested in. And of course, you can just drop out if you feel like you don't fit in. Just because you enrolled in it doesn't mean you have to commit to it. So you can actually just like pull out and tell them why you don't fit in. This isn't what you expected, and it's totally fine. Like, they're very, very understanding. They won't force you to stay.
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you, Zoe.
Mm.
Got another question here, and it's a good question from it's another anonymous question actually, but basically just asking, do you need to apply for bursaries, or does the university allocate them to you based on your grades? So I mean, from my perspective, having worked in admissions again and looking at scholarships and that kind of thing, if you're a UK or EU student, there are the excellence and merit scholarships. So if you achieve a certain grade, so if you get 3As or if you get AAB, then yeah, you'll have your excellence or merit scholarship will be allocated to you automatically, and it would just be a case of you, after you enroll, receiving a letter from the team in admissions, signing that you're happy to accept the scholarship, and then it's paid to you directly if you get those grades basically. International students, there's a wealth of scholarships out there as well. You do need to apply for those scholarships, but it's quite a straightforward application, and they're really popular for a lot of international students. So again, there's international excellence merit scholarships, and then in the School of Management here at Swansea as well, we've got it's more of a bespoke. It's called the Developing Futures Scholarship, which is open to international students only at undergraduate level 2, which is always worth applying for. I tell everybody to apply for it because it's yeah, it's well worth it. It takes a good chunk of money off your tuition fees, and yeah, it's again, it's quite a straightforward one to apply for. So I don't know, Zoe, were you in receipt of any scholarships at all when you came?
Yeah, actually, I did receive this Thrive bursary from the IDO. So that in long, they are called the International Development Office. If you don't get it, you can always ask, like, hey, am I eligible for any scholarship? You could just just shoot a question and ask, shoot your shot, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you, Zoe.
Yep.
I've got a quick one here from Owen. Owen is asking, in terms of societies and different activities, are there online communities for this? So, I mean, I would say, Owen, check out the Overheard in Swansea page on Facebook. That's probably a good first port of call. Would you agree, Zoe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Sorry, I was doing this. I was answering some questions by
Okay.
typing. Sorry, could you come
No,
again?
no, it's okay. Just wondering, are there any online communities for societies and activities? Where's the best place to start for Owen there?
The student union website, I would say they have fun games, fun activities there. Like they actually do try to engage with like student body, come up with new ideas to be interactive and stuff. So you could go check out the student union website.
Brilliant, that's great. Thank you, Zoe. So yeah, I hope that helps, Owen. Got a question from Sarah. So this is a nice one. So what makes Swansea stand out compared to other universities? So Sarah, you could have us talking for hours here, but go on, Zoe. I'll let you tackle this one first of all, and then I'll.
Number one is the beach. Now, I would honestly say the fact that I ended up in Bay Campus without even like needing to choose, I'm really lucky. So the moment you walk out of the library, you just turn left. And the moment you just like look ahead, and that's the beach, literally. For some, for School of Management, just walk out, turn right, and that's the beach. It's really nice. Like, why do I say it makes it stand out? Is because let's say for me, I get under a lot of stress when I'm studying, and the moment I walk out to the beach, it just feels like a relief. Like, okay, I'm not under that much pressure. It makes me rethink that, what I have to do to get things done, even though I'm stressed. So it's kind of like a break time for me, and really helps. I have my lunches there as well, even though it's very windy. It's honestly fine. Like, to me, it's definitely the beach that makes Swansea stand out.
Definitely, yeah. No, that's great. And I think like for my reason that I would add to that is I think in Swansea you have to look at the rankings. Of course, you can see that Swansea's growing. We're doing better and better year on year, particularly in terms of graduate prospects and student experience as well. UK top 20 for student experiences. There's a lot of good things going on at Swansea, but I think some of the other factors that make Swansea really stand out. I know I mentioned it earlier, but in terms of that community feel, in terms of the support, the sort of personal support that we try to give students, it's I think that's something that, obviously I'm biased, but I think that's something really special to us here in Swansea, and it's the feedback that we get from students year on year. So I'll keep answering the questions. We've got lots coming in. Again, as I say, please email me. Yeah, we're not going to get to answer every question. I'm really sorry, but please email them to me. I'll share my address shortly at the end of the session. We've got a few minutes left, so I'm going to try and let's go for as many questions as we can. So here's one from Sarah. She asks, does our accommodation have Wi-Fi? Yes. Yeah, it does. It's free. It's very, very fast, actually. So yeah, no problems with Wi-Fi at all. That's anywhere. Even if you're looking for a private accommodation, there's always Wi-Fi. It's like
The
having
Wi-Fi in uni is actually really good because it's connected to uni. Let's say if you stay in a campus accommodation, because it's connected to uni, well, the uni can't run without Wi-Fi. So if, let's say, there was like a shutdown, the first thing they would do is try to like revive it. And if they revive the Swansea Uni Wi-Fi, they would revive your accommodation Wi-Fi, your campus accommodation Wi-Fi. So no worries about that connection.
Brilliant. Oh, thanks, Zoe. Another good question here. So it's another anonymous one. So how much work do universities expect year 13 students to be doing now in preparation for courses, considering now coursework and exams have been cancelled? So I think I touched on it earlier, but we don't, as we said in the presentation, really, we don't expect students to be doing lots of reading over the course of the summer, particularly, from the School of Management perspective. So we're not asking students to go out there and do lots of reading because A-levels have been cancelled. But I would always say it's worth having a look. So have a look at the modules, have a look at the content of the course that you're interested in, and just do some kind of relaxed reading around it, I guess. So find a part of the course perhaps that you really like or you're really interested in, or an area that perhaps is quite challenging for you. and just read around it, and then get in touch with us if you want any specific resources or anything. Then please let us know. What I would say as well is Swansea, we're in the process at the moment of building a section of our website where we can host all of these resources for you. So, and we will be in touch when that's live and ready to go. So no problem.
May I add on to that point on the student, how to prepare? I guess one of the things you can do is learn effective note taking, because it's quite different from college, moving from college to like university. So you need to learn how to note take properly. Like that's one of it that I learned before coming to uni. The second bit is familiarize yourself with technology and productivity apps. So take online courses on how to use Excel efficiently, effectively. Also, the third thing is to distinguish the support system put in place by the university. So let's say if you need help with administration, like where do you go to? If you need help with funding, like where do you go to, like Money Campus Life and stuff like that. So you can familiarize yourself around that.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Thank you, Zoe. No, that's really important. I think we're going to have to draw a line under the questions there, because I know the session will expire in 5 minutes. So I know.
Can I say something like really quickly?
Yeah, of course.
So
of course.
I understand a lot of students have questions, right? So if you type into Google Swansea University Uni Buddy, you can actually talk to me there. It's an app where I can chat with you. So you can look for me. I think my name would be under Sui Lo or maybe Zoe, and there's a picture of me there. So you could pop in your questions there, and I can literally talk to you right now as well if you want to. So yeah, you could do that.
That's great, Zoe.
Yeah,
And
so
I think
like an app like this where I could just type in your questions. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a live chat system. So
it's a live chat system.
It's really good, and you always better to speak to students themselves, because because the guys like Zoe know better than anyone what it's like to study at Swansea and help you with those questions. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, we've got lectures, resources, and much more coming up on our website very soon. So we're building the pages on that for that right away now. So you'll see that very soon. Otherwise, massive thanks for joining. I'm sorry, again, we couldn't answer everybody's questions. There were a lot of questions, but like I say, pick up the phone, get in touch with me. That's my email address there. So yeah, just want to say a massive thanks really to everyone for joining. Please drop us a line. Speak to Zoe on Uni Buddy, as you said. And
looks like this.
There she is.
Just showing you. Yeah. So you could just pick up where we left off if you guys want to. Yeah.
No, and that's really good. And really appreciate it, Zoe. So thank you everyone. I hope it was helpful. And all being well, we will see you in Swansea very soon. But until then, stay safe, look after yourselves, and stay in touch. See you soon.
Yay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.